guys, and welcome to the handlers section. In this section we will see how we can develop our handlers, and of course explain a little bit about them. So
FileGenius is a simple to use desktop app that helps you organize your files inside a folder. The only thing you have to do is to run it. Wait some time in order to open the window. Log in. Find your folder. Let's open this test folder here. As you can see, I have 5 txt files, new, new 1, new 2, new 3, new 4. Now we need to copy from here our folder's path and paste it inside FileGenius UI. Here, as you can see, we have some options, for example, which type of files we want to organize. Let's say that inside the folder we have TXT, we have PDF, etc., etc., and we only want to organize our TXT files. We will type .txt and all other files it will be ignored. Here, if we tick this box, it will create a log file, and inside we will find our files that been moved. And finally, if inside our folder we have subfolders and we want to include them, to organize them, we just have to click this box here. For our example, I will just put our folder path here and just click organize. And as you can see, all of our files are moved inside a folder, each file inside each folder with file name. For example, if we open this new folder, we will find inside new.txt. New 1 we will find inside new1.txt. This is really useful if you are taking photos and you know that you need to have your files, your JPEG files, your PSD files, or whatever. For example, for one photo, maybe you have 3, 4, 5 files. So with FileGenius, you can have all your files with the same photo inside one folder. Also, it's useful if you want to organize your files inside folders, even if those files are not photos. FileGenius, I will put the link down below to download and try it.
let's start with the command handler. In our Visual Studio Code, we need to create a new folder, and its name will be handlers. But not here, accidentally I put it inside events folder, so let me move it. Okay, now we're okay. So for our first handler, we'll give the name command handler.js. Just be careful this thing. Be careful, the name of the file must be exactly the same like this name here we put in our main.js file. Remember these 3 names here. So these names must be exactly the same like our file's name. So to be sure, you can copy it from here and paste it here, just to be 100% sure. Okay, let's start. First of all, we need to declare some constants. First const will be fs equals require fs. The next one will be const path equals require node path. This is a typo, we don't need this slash here. Okay, now like as we did in our event file, we need to make a module and of course to export it. So module.exports equals client. We need client, of course. Without client it's not possible for this to work. And now let's start to declare some more constants. So first of all is parent folders path. After I finish coding, I will explain each line. So we can write now together with me. After we finish, I will explain everything. So path.join dir name, comma, these two dots. Next constant, folder path equals path.join parent folder path, comma, commands. This commands, this string will be our commands folder name. For next constant, we need command folders, which equals fs dot read dir sync, whatever. And we need one parameter which will be folders path. Okay. Now we will put here a try catch function. I will also explain this, why we need this and how to use it. Inside try, we can start with a console log. This is optional. Even if you don't like to put this, our handler, it will be fine, but I like to put this one. So inside we can put something like loading command files, and that's it. In order to know that right now, okay, let's say right now what our bot is doing, okay, it's loading our text commands files. Okay, so now we will need a loop, a for loop, and will be like this: const folder of commands folder. Now here we can write one more console log in order for us to know which command is going to be loaded. Okay, so console log, we put this slash, not this one, this slash n in order to change the line each time, because this console log it will be printed every time a new file is going to be loaded. So, loading command files for, actually this is for our folder, not for our command. We have here folder. This parameter, it will take our subfolder's name. For example, let's say we have, just a moment to be clear, we will have our commands folder here. Okay, this is the main folder, the parent folder. Inside we can have let's say CMD folder, for example, and moderation folder. So this console log, it will print out the name of each subfolder. For example, it will start with CMD folder. After finish with CMD folder, it will start with moderation folder, etc. Now, after our console log, we need some more constants. We have this one, commands path. As you can understand, this will be our commands file path, equals path dot join folders path, the first parameter, and folder, the second parameter. And now we need one more const about our files. So command equals fs dot, we need this read dir sync. As a parameter we need this commands path, dot filter file dot ends with dot js. Now inside this for loop we need one more for loop for const file not in of command files. Once again we will need some more constants. First one will be file path equals path dot join, and here we need two parameters. The first one will be commands path and the second one will be file. Next constant will be our command, that equals require file path. Sorry for this typos. File path. Next, const file stats. The next two constants, if you don't like to use it, it's okay. This purpose will be just to know how big our files are, counted in kilobytes. So file stats equals fs dot statsync, and as a parameter we need file path, and the final one will be const2 kb. This will convert our units to kilobyte, equals file stats dot size to fixed 2. Okay. Now we need an if statement. If command dot name client dot commands dot set command dot name, and as a second parameter command. And here we put else statement, and inside we just want to continue. Now, as a final piece of code, we can write one more console log just for us to know that all files are loaded successfully. In this case, you can put it like this, or if you like to use it with these two constants, if you like to know each file size, before this you can put file space to KB, and that's all. This will actually, this is not for all files, excuse me. Loaded successfully. This console log here, it will print out each of our file, okay, that it was loaded successfully. If you use this one, these two parameters, here you will see the file name, and here you will see the file size. Okay, good. Now, if you like to know when all files loaded successfully, we can write here console log and write something like all command files loaded successfully. Okay, this is a good case. If everything it's okay, you will see finally this console log here. But in case of an error, let's say that for some reason we have an error, how we can identify the error? Here you can put this /n to leave an empty line. So let's say in case of error, console log there was an error loading command file, sorry for some typos, command file, and that's it. So in case you will have an error and one of your files doesn't succeed to be loaded, you will see this message here. Okay guys, that's all for now. This will be our command handler finished with the writing code part, and let's go to explain. First of all, let's start with this line. As I told you before, this constant will be our parent file. As parent file, we mean this one, commands. This is our parent file. Okay? So, here is our file, our folder for the commands, and this will be our subfolders like CMD, moderation, and all of folders that are inside commands folder. Now, about this one, try and catch. We say, okay, try to do all this. If you succeed, okay. If you not succeed and you have an error, catch the error and print out. So, to know what was wrong. Okay, now, let's talk about this for loop. As you remember, I told you that these collections we used in our main file, all this, in order to access to them, we need this one, we need this loop. So this is what its job. Okay, we say for folder of commands folder. So for folders that are inside commands folder, okay, console log, this one first of all. After, let's find the path of our command, okay, of our commands folder. After this, find all the files inside our commands folder. For example, we have here, let's say this test.js. Okay, so with this constant here, we will find this test.js, but we don't need all the files here, because let's say that we have a file test. Okay, this file is nothing for us, it's useless. So because it's useless, we don't need to load this. That's why we use this one, filter all the files that ends with .js. Okay, now about the second for loop. We have the file path. Okay, you can understand it's the path of our file. We have our command, what is our command? Is actually our file path. And we have these two, okay, that are not necessary. So, inside this loop, we say if command.name, that means that if you find the command, take his name, okay, and inside this collection we have, you remember this commands collection we have right here, this one. So inside this collection, okay, put command name and command code. If you don't find something, okay, just continue. This is pretty much how our command handler works. So, in the next lecture, we will see and set up our event handler. So, see you there.